We are filming today the next part of Lacey PAC Podcast, and look at this. This is how I'm walking in. We're going to be walking in to this fucking taping. No makeup. My hair is still wet from the shower because I thought I had time to do... let's be honest, I thought I had time to lay in bed earlier today and not get my ass up like I should. And now I'm late to everything that I do for the day. And that's the truth behind the matter, is I always think I have time where it's okay to be 5 minutes late, but this time I am 30 minutes late to call time. Also, look at my freaking roots. Yep. This episode will drop at the end of March, so get ready. It's going to be a real nice look on this shoot. I'm sorry I'm late. Look at my shoes, how I drove. I'm late, I have no makeup on, and I'll just hurry up and throw it on, and we can even start talking if you want. And you just go like this, on a brush that you've had since you were probably 20, and then you use a little bronzer of Physicians Formula, because you don't tan anymore, because you're getting so old that you can't take a chance on getting older in the tanning bed. Then you gotta curl your long eyelashes like this. You just do this. I can't talk when I do this. Did I miss any spots? Can you let me know? Also, let's let everybody that watches this know this is not scripted. I actually am so fucking late, it's ridiculous. And if you put more on it, clumps up more, and it makes your eyelashes look even longer. There we go, and that's the makeup tutorial. Then my hair is still wet from a shower, so you bun it. I'm ready. Well, we're going into COVID now, so this gets crazy because of COVID. Let's recap for the followers. So I am born, I start dancing, I continue to dance, I go to Los Angeles. I hate Los Angeles, I move home, I open a dance studio, I meet a guy, I get married, I get divorced, I get a business partner, don't like her, get rid of that one, and now here we are, sell businesses, and now I own nothing. I'm probably like, what, 26 or so? And I don't own any businesses. I'm gonna find a 9-to-5, and for a minute I don't work at all, I don't think. Oh, and I'm pregnant, remember? I got pregnant because I met my future husband. So I sell all the businesses. I move in with my boyfriend. We're pregnant. We're so excited. Josh has 2 kids. And okay, now I hate when we have to get down into it because now I get weird. You know what I mean? There's so much fun just fucking around. Do my feet look okay on camera? Because people are weird about seeing people's toes. I'm living a normal life. I'm not owning anything. I don't have anything going on at the time other than being pregnant. Josh has 2 children that are older, and I'm learning how to be a stepmom because now, we know we're going to be together. We get engaged, but I'm going into that transition of like now being a stepmom again, but now with 2 kids instead of 1. And if you've ever been a stepmom or a stepdad, that is like its own freaking challenge, juggling being somebody that's kind of a friend, but you really don't have any rights to these kids, and then you have to follow along with what the mom and dad want. Anyway, that's a whole other podcast. I started working at 10 Lakes. 10 Lakes is a mental hospital, probably where I should have been put. It used to be in one of the hospitals close to my house, and I'm trying to figure out all these jobs. Like, what do I want to do now? Since I'm not dancing is done. I'm not gonna be a dancer anymore. Fuck that. I don't want to own businesses anymore. That's over. So now what do I do? Well, I put on scrubs and I decide I'm gonna go work at this mental institution because my friend worked there at the time and she helped me get a job. So I got certified for like something, and I was working the night shifts. I worked midnight shifts. And holy shit, the things that come out at night in mental hospitals. You would go in, and these people that were in there were older, younger, whatever, but there was this one episode I'll never forget, and this is when I knew I was not fit to work in this kind of area. But one night we got a new lady that was being put into the hospital, and you checked her in, all this stuff, and she claimed she was a witch. And I was like, oh, this is great, like, we'll see what goes on with her. Okay, bitch was crazy. So we put her in her room, she's in there, I'm like trying to, become friends with her, I'm helping her get her clothes together, whatever. She's this skinny little 95-pound lady, soaking wet, crazy hair. Well, I get in there, and I didn't know she was in there. I thought she was with one of the therapists, and I go into the bathroom to do something. And all of a sudden, she turns the lights off. She's in the room, but she was hiding. She turned the lights off on me. I'm in the bathroom. She shuts the door. She's in there with me, behind me. I'm thinking for sure this is the end of me. I'm screaming, help, help. And she's like, I've got you. And I can't see her, and I'm trying to cover myself, get away from her. And then all of a sudden a doctor walks in and grabs her, and she's just standing over me. I had you. This is true shit, Chelsea. And I'm like, what the hell? I was done after that. I was like, but there were so many things that happened in that hospital like that. They would try to get you in these rooms and scare you, like the patients did. Then there was one other lady though, she pooed herself, and it was literally head down. Poo. Are we gonna use this? Well, I'm just saying, this woman shat herself everywhere. And the reason she did it was because she hadn't pooped in a week. And the doctors and nurses at this hospital were giving her tons of what are they, laxatives? Stool, everything probably that you could give her. Well, they didn't tell us, they kept giving them to her all week long. So then we were in the night shift. Oh my God. And when I talked to you, covered it, and she's playing in it, and she was a heavier girl, so you couldn't Needless to say, I didn't work at 10 Lakes very long. I worked there for a little bit, and then I got the hell out of Dodge. But then after I realized I didn't want to work in any kind of nursing ordeal, I went ahead and I started working at Tinwood Tavern opened up, and they needed somebody to bartend and waitress. And it was this new restaurant, but it was in an old restaurant that had been around for years. And I worked there for a couple months, and it was fine. It was good. The food was good. Drinks were cool, until we start seeing they're not ordering a lot of beer. They're not things are getting a little weird with the owners. And then all of a sudden, one night, the one owner comes in and he's like, hey, you can leave early tonight. I'm like, oh, that's weird, okay. So I leave, and I had a trainee there, and he let the trainee stay, which is weird. So I leave early, and about 2 hours later, I get a phone call that Tinwood Tavern's on fire. And they never really solved that case, but didn't work there after that, obviously. Well, I'm trying to figure out what the hell I'm doing in life now again. I go from being a dancer, and that's all I've known and all I've done my whole life, to now it's okay, now that I'm not dancing anymore, what am I? Who am I? I have to have a job. And there for a minute, once we have my first son, who was born in October, 2017, once we have Jet, we're okay, well, I'm just gonna be a stay-at-home mom. That was a big thing because I worked at the mental hospital. That didn't work for me. Waitress and bartended. That's just what I always go back to because I'm good at it, decent at it. But I think the whole time that I'm gone from dance and pregnant, I don't know what I want to do, because I'm well, I'm gonna have this baby. I've got money. I should saved up or whatever. I should just stay at home. I ended up staying at home for 4 or 5 months. Maybe 6, and I was depressed as hell. I already knew there and then. Bad decision. I could not be a stay-at-home mom. No way. I thought my identity would be found after I had kids because I had no passion anymore. I didn't have, dance was my identity my whole life. And then I'm okay, well, now I'm pregnant. I'm with the love of my life, which Josh is he is the man that I'm meant to be with. Whether he drives me fucking nuts or not, that's the guy I'm stuck with and supposed to be with for the rest of my life. But when I get pregnant, I'm so excited because I'm this is gonna be a part of him. He's so hot. I'm decent. This baby's gonna be cute and amazing, you know? And then I have a kid and I'm like, you're so sweet, I love you. And this is a great one. I'm in the hospital, and as a first-time mom, you're like supposed to be able to like bathe them and love them and kiss them and put their little diaper on. And the doctors come in, they're like, okay, we're gonna give him his first bath. And instantly I'm like, fuck if I am. I ain't touching that baby. And my husband, who's had 2 kids, is like, you should probably bathe the baby. I'm like, I'm not bathing that baby. There's no way, I can't bathe that baby. I'm gonna break that baby. So then I'm bawling because then I'm instantly a bad mom in my head because I don't even wanna touch my baby and bathe it. But right there that's postpartum right there before you even get out of the hospital. But I thought as soon as my first child was born, that my identity of a mom and as a person would be there, and I wouldn't have to ever worry about anymore about what I want to do in life. This would fill that void. Dance is gone, replace it with a baby. Now I have a purpose. The purpose is now my newborn child and my family. And I think a lot of moms think that, especially when you're young, and it's the complete opposite. It's like now you have a baby and you have to take care of that thing. And so the bath story is Josh ended up giving Jet, we named him Jet, giving Jet his first bath. And fast forward to a couple months later, Josh and I sit down and have a real serious conversation. He's like, I'm so proud of you. You're a great mother, but I was really scared the first couple days of you being a mom because I didn't know if you would be a good mom or not because I was so nervous. And then I breastfed because, of course, that's what you're supposed to do is breastfeed your baby. That's the only way to do it. If you don't breastfeed your baby, you are a shitty mom and that baby will not turn out smart. When you're breastfeeding though, it's supposed to be happy and all that shit. And I'm doing it and I'm doing it all the time and I'm pumping. And whenever so your body, like the milk drops and like the letdown or whatever, when it would let down, there was this feeling in my brain of hatred. Like I would hold my baby, I just got chills. Because I hate it's so sad to feel that way. But I would look at Jet and be breastfeeding and I'm like literally hating him, hating myself, hating Josh tremendously for the fact that he can't breastfeed and I have to do it. And then the doctor's like, well, don't breastfeed exclusively. Let's pump. Just pump, and then you can feed the baby with a bottle, so then Josh can feed the baby. So I'm like, okay, because my doctor was very big on breastfeeding, as the whole world seems to be. And so I do the pumping, and it's the same thing. And I'm like, I'm sitting there, and I remember just being like, oh my God, here we go. And it would I would feel the letdown of the milk. And I'd be looking at Josh and he's like, are you okay? I'm like, I fucking hate everything. I hate my life. I hate the baby. I hate you. Like, this is horrible. So then it was like, okay, well, let's go to a lactose consultant because still don't give up. Even though you're still losing your shit, don't give up. So I went to this lactose consultant and they're like, well, you're missing a hormone and why don't you do it in the bathtub? Why don't you lay in the bathtub, hold the baby on your boob, breastfeed in the bathtub? I'm like, no, because I'll drown the damn baby. Like, real nice. Thanks for telling me that. Like, or myself. So then finally Josh and I sat down and he's like, listen, you gotta be done. So motherhood for me in the beginning was not pleasant. And I think filming this episode, this is why it's hard, is because I have parts that I don't remember because I was just trying to survive, trying to figure out how to love this thing, and trying to tell myself that I'm not a bad person for not connecting to my baby right away. But I wasn't, because I found out in the long run, he's now 8. I just don't like the newborn stage. Like, get past that and I'm solid. Put a diaper on, feed them their peas and their mushy shit, and I'm good to go. And then I loved being a mom. But through that, I learned that, yeah, it wasn't like what I thought it was gonna be, kind of like how my whole life was. I didn't know LA was gonna be shitty, and it was shitty. And becoming a mother ended up being kind of shitty for me in the beginning, but then it got better. But I think it's because I listened to myself and I listened to my husband and my friends and learned that a fed baby is a happy baby and you don't have to follow what everybody tells you to do. You literally need to do what's good for you so that you can survive and then you can connect to your child. And then you meet people that connected to their kid right away and you want to punch them in the face. Yeah, so I have Jet. I have my first baby. It's great. He starts crawling. Josh and I won tickets off the radio to go to California, which is hilarious, right after we had Jet, like 3 or 4 months after we had him. So we ended up doing it because it was a once in a lifetime thing. They paid for like the flight and the hotel, and we got to go to this alternative rock concert thing. Reason I'm telling this part is because we end up going to the show. I went to have a beer at the concert. I'm like, oh, this beer tastes like shit. Like, I don't feel good. Something's weird. We come home. No, a couple days later, Josh is cooking bacon and I smell bacon, which I love bacon. And I instantly want to vomit. And I happen to have a pregnancy test in the cupboard, and the fucker got me pregnant again. Back to back. 2 summers of hell. The second pregnancy was so much better. I ended up working a lot. I went back to Hog Heaven, and I worked at Hog Heaven for quite some time, fully pregnant until I had to give birth. And during that second pregnancy, because I'd been pregnant twice, my hormones were insane. Plus I'm raising this baby. Plus I'm trying to work at a job and still feel purposeful in the world, because after being a stay-at-home mom for a little while, I realized that was like absolutely not what I was cut out for. And some women, God knows how they do it, because I don't. They are the best stay-at-home moms. Their house is clean, dinner's on the table, the kids are well taken care of, they play with them. Who the fuck has kids to play with? Like, I had kids I realized I had kids so that the grandparents had somebody to play with. The second pregnancy is super fine, it goes great. And then we went to a ultrasound and we find out that there is possibly something wrong with the baby. He had which is very common in boys, we're having another boy. He had something with his kidney where they thought he would possibly not be able to pee correctly. It would the pee would stay in and then it would build up and it could make him really sick. So we had to get a lot of ultrasounds done. I was high risk. Once I was put on high risk, then, I quit work. And we ended up having our second child in November of 2018. And his name is Cash Waylon, after Johnny Cash and Waylon Jennings. What? Tell me about it. You're so messy. You're a very messy baby. When you had babies in COVID and you would, go to the doctor and stuff, a lot of doctor visits were over the phone, but not their vaccine. Their vaccines were in person. But during COVID, they clumped vaccines together so that when you would go vaccinate your baby or get the boosters for vaccines or whatever, as they were, because Cash was only a couple months old when COVID shutdown happened, you would take the baby to get the vaccine and they would put, anywhere from 3 to 8 to 10 shots in one vial and give the baby the one shot and get you the hell out of there, so that there wasn't as much exposure for anybody. And that's a huge part of the story that I'm gonna jump into now about Cash. So during COVID, my son Cash is starting to walk. He's saying mom, he's saying dad. He is learning other words and sounds and doing everything that a normal child is supposed to do. And I always wanted to I love baby books. I loved that my mom kept a really good baby book of us, and she did a great job for as many years as she could. And I never understood why she stopped until I had kids and then realized that, holy shit, you can't write down everything. Even if you think once a month, I'm going to get that baby book out and write it down. It is still so hard to do. But with Jet, I documented everything I could for the first almost 3 years, down to pictures. I would print pictures out every month and I'd put them in a book so that, even in his early years, when he gets older, he would have all that. And I'm so glad I did. There was a reason I did that. And I didn't know it then until Cash came along. And so, Cash is doing all the right things. He's doing all the right things. He's just like Jet. They're amazing babies. And I'm documenting Cash as he grows up. And again, this is all during COVID because it's a big deal to emphasize that. Because of the shutdown, it did affect, decisions that we made as far as doctor appointments and vaccine appointments. And I did vaccinate my kids. I was vaccinated, and look how good I turned out. You know what I mean? But like, you vaccinate your kids. That's just what you do. It's what they tell you to do, and you just listen to them. And I know a lot of people nowadays, it can go either way, but that's just what I was brought up on. You vaccinate them, and everybody in my family was fine, whatever. So Cash is going great. We're following the baby books. He's just like Jet, kind of smarter in some senses, and it's great to see these babies growing up. But we take Cash and we get him vaccinated he gets his 18-month vaccinations. And then we go to our local doctor, and after his vaccinations and at his 18-month visit, before his 18-month checkup, I should say, about a week after the vaccination, we start seeing like some differences in Cash. And one that stood out was when we would say his name, he would not turn and look at us. He wouldn't come to us. And the first thought was hearing. Okay, maybe he's got some hearing issues. Well, he loved chips, so we tried that out. We took a bag of chips, and he was in the living room, and we were in the kitchen, and we didn't say anything. We just like rattled a bag of chips, and this little 18-month-old, you can hear his little feet coming towards him. We're like, oh, he can hear. So his hearing was fine. We tried everything to see why he was doing these weird little things, these quirky little things. We also found him, he started rocking a lot, and his body would hit the couch really hard and rock back and forth. And he never did that before. And then the one thing that I will never forget that I thought was really different was, we have a dog, and the dog bowl, Jet, when he was 18 months or, a little over a year, he would mess with the water in the dog bowl. But if you told him no, so when you would tell Jet, like, hey, smack his hand away, don't touch the dog bowl, don't mess with it, Jet listened and wouldn't do it. Well, Cash, he started going over and getting interested in the dog bowl, and we'd bring him, try to move him away or tap his hand away, or, when he wouldn't listen, then you'd like pat his butt, and he didn't give a shit. Like, he wouldn't even look at you at this point to acknowledge that he was in trouble. He was just like, oh, no big deal, back to the dog bowl. And you're like, what the hell? Like, he is not listening at all. And it was so weird because that's not how Jet was. Also, Cash wasn't like that in the beginning. So we go to his 18-month checkup with our doctor, and we bring up our concerns, and the doctor had some concerns himself. So he's like, let's take the ADOS test. The ADOS test is a test to see if your child is on the spectrum for autism. And there's other things that the ADOS test can help you with. But so we take this test, and it comes out that he is severely, he's heavily on the spectrum for autism. And, which I didn't even know what the hell autism really was. But, so our kid's not normal, and we get told that. Cash is diagnosed with autism, ADHD, anxiety disorder. He is nonverbal. And after the diagnosis, we thought, I don't even know. My husband and I don't know. It was a hard time. When they diagnose your child, especially in a doctor's office, they don't like sit you down and say, oh, your kid has autism. It's, this is what we're gonna do. No, they tell you, and then it's like the time you have in the doctor's office is over and they're like, okay, here's your resources, call Akron Children's or call this doctor, call that doctor. Good luck. And then you leave and you're like, what the fuck? Like, and then you get on Google, and Google is like the worst enemy, your worst enemy at the time. Because you're Googling everything. What does autism mean? What is this? What is that? But Cash went from saying words to then not being verbal at all. No more mom, no more dad, no more anything. So our first step was to tell our family members, and a lot of our family members didn't agree with the diagnosis, especially some of our, a lot of our family members didn't agree at first. No, he's just different than Jet. He's not autistic. He'll grow out of it. You know, all the things that, you know, families go through, denial and, oh, you know, whatever. He's not verbal right now, but he'll be verbal in a couple years. It's fine. But that wasn't the case. Cash got more problems started coming out. Cash was starting to run away. Cash was starting to get violent. He wasn't sleeping at night. He wasn't eating food like he normally had been. Everything like changed in an instance. And so we sought out help with our board of DD, and we found help through a program called Help Me Grow. And Help Me Grow, I believe, is in a lot of areas, at least around our county. I don't know about statewide. But Help Me Grow, and they call it different things, is where a therapist can come to your house and teach you how to connect to your child from the age 3 and under. Once they're 3 years old, then they go to the county level or to your board of DD, Board of Developmental Disabilities, and you'll get a SSA, which is somebody that will help you figure out what's resources for your child and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, Help Me Grow was the biggest godsend in the world. I was extremely depressed. I've been fucking depressed my whole life, to be quite honest. But I was really depressed when this happened. And I didn't know, you blame yourself. You blame yourself that it's your fault that your kid has a problem. So you go through all those things. You have to go through grieving your child almost, like the child you thought you were going to have, the way your child was going to be. You have a baby, you raise them, you put them through school, they have friends, people are nice, they go through their growing pains, then they meet somebody, they fall in love, they go to college, or they get a job, everything that's normal, and then they leave your home and blah, blah, blah. And when you get a diagnosis like we got, it's not that way. And it's a grieving period of that child is not going to do those things that everybody else gets to do. That child's going to be labeled differently. That child's going to be looked at differently. That child may not have friends. That child will live with you forever. And nobody tells you that shit. Like, no one says, hey, if you have a baby, that baby might not be what a normal baby is supposed to be. So that's a smack in the face. Is what that is. But Help Me Grow, we had a lady from Help Me Grow that came, and she was phenomenal. And she pulled me out of my ditch that I dug for myself and said, this is not a death sentence. This is not something horrible. This is a new way of life. This is beautiful. This is a child that is different for beautiful reasons, and you just need to learn to see his beauty in the way that he's gonna I don't know how to explain that, but you gotta see the beauty that is cash, you know, and cash stands out, and it's good to stand out, you know, and he may be different, and he may need to be raised different, and you may have to change your family dynamic, but it's gonna be for the best. And so we did that. We sat the big kids down, my stepchildren, and we explained to them about cash, and we explained to our whole family about cash, and we just kept trucking forward, and we didn't look back. And it was therapist and specialist and genetic testing, and it was driving to Cleveland with a kid who didn't want to be in the car, and it was harnesses put on him and straps on his arms so he wouldn't run away from you, and don't park in this parking spot because it's too far away and you might lose him before you get to the front door. And it was a whole different way of life. And there was no time to even evaluate it not being that way. Like this is what you're given. Now you got to figure it out. And that's what we did. We figured it out. And I think any parent that can look at their child once given a diagnosis like Cash was given, or any diagnosis, as long as you look at it and you can say, you know what, it is still my beautiful baby. It's just my beautiful baby growing up in a different way. That's okay. And then you just figure it out every day. You just figure it out. But we did. We ended up getting genetic testing. We found out that Cash is environmentally autistic, which is too long to talk about during this episode. But there is different diagnosis for autism. There's genetically autistic, and then there's environmentally autistic. Environmentally autism means that he was typical at one point in his life, and in the environment he is in, whether it can be pollution, it can be something he drank, it can be the food he ate, it can be the medicine he took, and it can be the vaccines that were given to him. It could be anything. Created something in his neurons that connect into his brain behind his neck there, something in his neurons to trigger autism. So he is officially diagnosed environmentally autistic, not genetically. But learning Cash and going through all the specialists and going through all the things we went through, there was one thing that connected me to Cash, and that was music. And I would turn the radio on or turn on my record player, and he would shake his little booty and he would jump and he would smile, and he was so happy, and it made me so happy, and we could dance in the kitchen and spin and do all the crazy, moves, and he loved it. And Jet was a year older than him, and Jet loved it. And there was just, when music was on, there was peace. It was all everybody was typical when music was on. And so I remember telling my husband that I think, I don't even remember what I said to him exactly. I just remember knowing that I knew music had to be in his life, and through his eyes and looking at him, I knew music needed to be back in my life. And that's the whole reason that then I decided that I didn't want a 9-to-5 anymore, and that it was time to open Lacey PAC back up. And that's what we did. We opened the dance studio back up.